Hi, my name is Savannah. I'm going to be your nurse today. I'm going to be performing a Foley catheter insertion. So can I get your name and date of birth, please? And I see that you're allergic to sulfa-iodine. We are going to be using iodine for the video, but obviously if your patient was allergic to sulfa-iodine, you would no longer use iodine and you'd find a different antiseptic. Before performing this procedure, I would make sure that pericare had been done and there was an order for the Foley catheter. I'm then going to explain to the patient that this is all going to be in the peri area and I'm going to do my best to keep them comfortable. And I'm going to, and hopefully it'll be a quick procedure and he won't feel too uncomfortable. So I'm going to lower his head. If my patient has trouble breathing, I'm going to try to lower it as much as possible to where they are comfortable. He doesn't have any trouble breathing though, so I can lower it all the way down. And then I'm going to raise the bed up to my waist and put down the side rail. I would then ask if I could place a biohazard bag next to him. Like that. And then I'm going to clean off my table. And the packaging on these wipes says 2 minutes, so we're just going to go by that standard. And keep the table wet for 2 minutes. I'd make sure that, you know, I get the whole table and that I get the edges as well. So now I'm going to position my patient. I'm going to pull the blankets back. I'm going to perform hand hygiene before I do anything. So I perform hand hygiene first, then I pull the blankets back on my patient. Lift it up only to where it's necessary. And then I would position the legs outward both ways. So now I'm going to re-perform hand hygiene, and I'm going to get out my sterile items. So I have my Foley catheter kit, and then I have an extra pair of sterile gloves. So I'm going to first place it upside down and open the package. And then I'm going to place it right side up, and I'm going to take it out of the packaging. These can be then thrown away, and I would open first away from me. And I'm going to make sure that I'm staying in those sterile field margins. Since it folded back in, it's no longer sterile, it's technically contaminated, but we're going to keep going for the video. Okay. Turn it sideways, and now I'm going to perform hand hygiene one last time. And I'm going to take my sterile gloves and I'm going to open away from me. This side. Take my dominant hand and pinch. And then I'm going to go under the cup on these ones. Put that on. Okay. Now I'm going to be able to just slide that away. And now what I'm going to do, so now I can reposition my tray to take my other tray out. I'm going to take my first dressing, open it up, and the shiny side is going to go down, and this is going to go under my patient. I'm going to fold the corners, and I'm going to do my best to slide it under without contaminating. So I've contaminated my glove because I touched their legs, but normally, you know, it's much easier when you have a patient to help you move. So I'm going to continue on. I'm going to take my second drape. And I'm going to do the same thing. Fold it under. I'm going to place it over the patient and let it go. Now I can reposition it because it is still sterile, like so. So now I'm going to take my betadine and I'm going to open it and put it and completely saturate the cotton balls using all the iodine. Okay, so now I can now throw this away. Put my tweezers back on top. Now I'm going to take my lubricant and I'm actually going to twist this. Take my lubricant and place it in here. And then I can discard this. Going to now take my Foley catheter and I'm going to open it. I can discard this. I'm going to, that came back over the sterile field. So it's no longer sterile, it is contaminated, but we're gonna keep going. Take my Foley cath and insert it into the lubricant and let it sit there. I am also now going to take my sterile water and attach it to the bowl. Okay, I'm going to take it in here and we're just going to attach it. Make sure that it's secure. So now I'm going to be able to start cleaning my patient. Take my forceps and take an iodine soaked cotton ball. Start at the left, start from the top and go down, and then discard into the biohazard. Take another combo down the other side to the biohazard. and then one down the middle. One down the middle. Always clean from top to bottom. That's all gonna go into the biohazard. I forgot to do it, but before cleaning, I'm supposed to spread the labia folds with my left hand, which would then be contaminated. Spread the labia folds so I can clean the patient better. So now this is going to be my contaminated hand, and I am now going to remove the catheter from the lube. Just going to make sure that it's saturated nice. I'm going to take my box into the sterile field. I'm going to take my contaminated hand, spread the labia. I'm going to insert the catheter in. I would go in 3 or 4 inches until I see urine return, and then I would go in another inch. From here, also this hand should never touch the patient while it is touching the catheter inserting. So now I'm going to take my other contaminated hand, pinch the catheter, and I'm going to inflate the balloon. Then I can discard that. And now I'm going to pull back and feel that I get some resistance. So now it is, I no longer have to be sterile, so now I can rip the dressing off. And discard it. And then I could take my other dressing off and discard it. And I could take my gloves off, perform hand hygiene, and take the Foley catheter out of the box. I'm then going to secure it to the leg. And then I'm gonna put on another pair of gloves. I'm going to secure it to the leg. There's many types of securement devices. Today we will just be using tape, but on older adults especially, you should try to avoid using tape or not too much tape. At this point, I can also cover my patient because it is no longer sterile, because we want to try to maintain as much of their privacy as possible. So I'm going to take my tape, and I'm going to leave a little bit of slack and then tape it to the inside of the patient's leg. And actually put this down so I could see what they look like more in a resting position with the Foley cath. Out here. I'm going to take a piece of tape and try to get it to be as secure as possible. Like that. Normally you won't be using this type of tape. You'll have other securement devices, and those other securement devices will allow that Foley catheter to really be attached. So I can cover up my patient fully. And then I'm going to take the bag. I'm going to make sure that there is a loop on the bed. And then I'm going to hook the bag to a hook under the bed, like so. Make sure that the loop is going to be on the bed, like that. So now I can cover my patient. Take off the biohazard bag and put this in biohazard waste. At this point, I would just monitor it, check up on the Foley cath, make sure that there was nothing wrong, it wasn't leaking, it was collecting all the fluids that it needed to. I would put the patient back down into the proper position, and then I would also assess vital signs, see if there's anything else the patient needs, and then I would clean all this up, and that is it.